remind everybody to like and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you're liking this video. Get yourself caught up on all of our latest videos and make sure you're in tune for every week. We do this weekly. There's a lot of other great stuff on the Horse Racing Nation YouTube as well.
I have not decided who I'm going to have on next week.
For the live stream?
Because you'll be gone, right?
No, I'll be back in time.
Oh, you're back?
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't have to replace me.
Well,
I mean, you can if you want to.
No, I thought you were gone for the week.
Oh, no, I'm coming back Tuesday.
Oh, okay. Well, I have decided then who I'm going to have on next week.
Matt?
You. Especially if you bring candy. Is there a candy in Massachusetts that they're known for?
Oh, probably, but I'm not
Is saltwater taffy a thing up there?
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big thing like Lake Erie.
Gotcha.
So.
I owed you candy from our last.
Yes.
Yeah.
We are a team that pays its debts.
Absolutely. You paid your debt yesterday.
Yeah, that was a bad take. I deserve to lose.
Yeah, but we all have them. It's
yeah,
okay.
No, it happens.
It was nice to end with.
Sara and I bet who would be the lower price, YY Paul Y or
Stiletto Boy.
Stiletto Boy, and it wasn't even close.
No, not at all. But if YY Paul Y had won, you would have definitely gotten your money's worth for liking that horse. He went off at what, like 9, 10 to 1, something like that.
I did bet maybe a super micro mini thrill at some point when he was inside. It looked like maybe if he got a seam, but wasn't near good enough. But it happens.
Right, absolutely. So I was wrong plenty on Saturday. It happens. We'll see what we can get going today. At least we are still alive after leg 1 in the Philly Big Five. I know that you played as well.
I did. Yes, your ticket that you gave out on Horse Racing Nation is live. Mm-hmm. My friend Mike, who has had some good picks at Sam Houston, he's out.
Really?
Yeah.
No grit and grind?
No grit and grind. Well, he's in with the tickets that our group split, so he's not.
At least he's not totally
eliminated. But his personal ticket is gone, and then that was just a B for me. But I leaned pretty heavily on 2 of the next 3 chalk, so I obviously would have preferred the 5-1A. But hopefully, the last leg I did not use who I think will be the favorite. And then the other legs, I didn't use the chalk. I don't have the favorite. So hopefully can zig and zag to a decent payout.
Absolutely. And I think that although there have been a lot of scratches going on at Parx, it seems as though today's card was not nearly as affected as yesterday's. A couple of my picks did scratch out, but nothing totally significant and nobody that I had on top either.
Of the scratches. Yeah, I think you only lost 2?
Maybe 2 or 3.
You went from 90 to 72,
2.
maybe?
Just
yeah.
2.
Okay.
Yep.
So, right, the 8 was a later scratch.
Chris, even though I do enjoy his voice quite a bit.
We do, but yeah, don't need to hear him for now. We'll invite people to listen to him. The race is on. You were too deep here, which I don't want to say surprised me because never going to find fault with someone who's willing to go against a heavy chalk. Although you did use, this was a single for me.
Makes a
and
lot
probably
of
for most people.
Right. It was very hard to look past this horse, and she makes absolutely the most sense in here. As you can see, currently 3 to 5 on the board. These connections won the first 3 races today, and obviously have been on fire at Parx lately. I wouldn't blame anyone for singling in here, but trying to find a little bit of value. I did look at one other horse in this field, and that was the number 3, Fleeter then. This horse in her last 4 starts has finished first or second. She's going to have to get a little bit faster speed figures wise, but I just respect a horse that's ultra consistent. And with an off track, a lot of these have experience over the wet conditions, but some of them may not prefer it. So I just wanted to take a little bit of a shot with a horse that's currently sitting there at 12 to 1.
Yeah, decent price indeed. I definitely thought was among the alternatives, and I actually thought the 3 might be the second or third choice. So currently at 12 to 1, that's a little more interesting to me. I would say the 5 at 30 to 1. One of those like, okay, if you're against the favorite, can something really get chaotic? And that one has one of those, I've talked about this before with the pace pattern where actually ran pretty well relative to previous performances. Last race early wasn't near good enough when you look at the final time, but sometimes when they show improvement in the opening part of the race, the next time they put it together a little more. And I thought if you really want to stretch against the favorite, the 5 at 30 to 1 or what I thought would be a long shot was worth a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you take the 10 out of the equation in here, I think this race is much more wide open. I didn't really love the 9, Assume Control, who is actually your third choice as of right now at 6-1 on the board, just because the 10 had already beat this horse and just really didn't think that she was up to snuff in here.
I agree. Certainly at 6-1 is kind of co-second choice, you could say. I mean, they're 9-2, 6-1, but clearly that next tier of who's getting bet, I'd much rather reach beyond that once you get past the favorite. Now, it is interesting you noted that has not been a match for the 10 in the previous race. You did think, though, that we have a table turn situation with the 1 and the 12. That did come to fruition. What do you look for when handicapping horses that have faced each other often? What are the clues that say, yeah, things can be different this time, or in the case of this race, no, it's going to be the same thing?
Well, I think it just depends a lot of like what happened in the race, whether that's one horse having more of a tactical advantage than another one, whether there's going to be a change in the next race where they're facing each other. Are they changing distances, surfaces, something like that? When you're talking about claimers, has one moved into a different barn and is possibly going to improve off the claim for a different trainer, different connections? So with the last race in particular, where Wagon Boss did beat Grit and Grind last time they faced each other, it was kind of a desperate finish for Wagon Boss. You could tell that that horse was getting really tired late and just barely held on. So I was thinking with a little bit more of pace on the front end for Grit and Grind to close into. I didn't quite expect him to be that far back, but I just thought that maybe he might get a better setup today.
Right.
And Wagon Boss was what, third or fourth?
In that fourth.
Yeah. So didn't get to sit quite as close or ended up kind of pressing the pace. That pace setter did hold on until the last second to be wore down by Grit and Grind on the outside and there. But it just seemed like that horse was getting tired late where the other one was running on. So I thought that maybe just energy-wise, the one looked a little bit better in there.
Yeah, and that's what happened. And we had it in your article. It's over now, so didn't even think to save it to show it. But we did look at the pay or the running styles and posts that have how they performed at Parx. 4 of the 5 races were 2-turn routes, that being one of those, and the outside posts were over beyond post 4 the last week at Parx. So obviously very small sample size, but post 12, 2 turns, less than a mile and a 16. I don't care what the track is. That's always to me going to be a tough ask. So
right, absolutely. And when you're also looking at the dynamics of that race, like we had talked about, that horse was getting so tired last time out. Then you're asking that horse to break from an even further outside post position, give up more ground. It just set up for the tables to be turned, and they were.
And they were. All right. Well, pick 5 started. Your ticket is live, so if you played along with Sara on Horse Racing Nation or wherever you actually made the bet, you are looking at 310 in this race. And if you missed it, you could just run back her picks in a pick 4, which would be only $8 because you end up having a single in the last. But you are 4 deep in the next, would be 2 deep after scratches. And then you were telling me you're a little nervous about that scratch in the last race because, yeah, I would think I'm the most likely winner, but with horses coming out, always changes things up.
Absolutely, and we'll talk about it more later on, but I am a little bit nervous about that horse because his last 2 efforts have not been that great. However, I feel like if he runs this race 3 back, he's got it. Nobody else was really that exciting, but I did really like the 8 in that spot, who unfortunately did scratch today.
Did. And as for me, I basically played it. I think that the 10 here is the most likely winner of the whole pick 5. Now with the pick 4 left, that is still the case. There's the 7 in the next, 2 figures to take some money. And then talking about scratches affecting opinion, I thought the scratches in the 10th, which is the race that scratched down the most, was huge because you have the 1, 4, and 7 out. So now post 9 is post 6, which I definitely see is a positive with that short run to the turn, 5.5 furlong sprint. And in my mind, there's still I think the 2 might be a pace presence, especially from now the rail, I think has to go. But really, to me, that's the only challenge to the 9 running his race. So that's a huge upgrade. Unfortunately, it's also a huge shot to the price.
Right, absolutely. I think that that was one of the hottest paces listed on the Horse Racing Nation pace report for the day, not just at Parx, but with so many significant scratches in there, I feel like the pace dynamic is going to be totally different in
Right.
that race. Really sets up well for the 9, does not set up quite as well for the 5, who I used in my pick 5 ticket.
Yeah, the 5, the 2 and 5 I see is 2. If you think the front end can be the 9s I'm doing, maybe that's the one that goes on with it, and then maybe things collapse like we saw last race, and it's the 5. But
I wouldn't have said that the last race really collapsed. I would say
that's true. Everyone else stuck around except the
Yeah.
winner, so that's fair.
Was won by
Nevertheless,
a
a
close
furious
spot.
run.
Yes.
Yeah, from
Chris
way,
said,
way.
wow. I
He
said,
did.
wow.
Yeah.
We were
Oh.
setting up, and I was like, that one is flying.
Yeah, and
We were
one
like,
of
"We're gonna
those,
get there."
I mean, it looked like kind of at the 16th pole, the insurmountable lead by the Deuce, but then once you saw out in the clear like that, the writing
It was
was
pretty
on the wall.
impressive.
Yeah. So your win bit cash, win bet cashed, I survive. I would have preferred the 2, admittedly, but survive in advance. Juan wants to know where he can get a lineup of the horse racing, which I don't know if he means specifically the races we're talking about or just in general, but I would point Juan to our entries and results page on Horse Racing Nation, which not only just has a list of the horses running in each race, tracks across the country, but plenty of other good information as well. So,
Absolutely.
Juan, go to horseracingnation.com.
I would have said the same exact thing. As far as races that we're specifically going to discuss tonight, I don't know how specific or vague that question was. We're going from 4 to 6 today, so we'll have the rest of the races running at Parx from race 8 on, and I think we have the first 3 at Sam Houston.
That's right.
That's it.
Yeah, first 3 there, and talk about any of the races if people have questions. I looked at them all, so I'd be willing to share my wisdom, certainly. And even if you haven't looked and need some thoughts, the power picks at Sam Houston,
On 5.
gangbusters, and this actually is the old logo,
We've actually improved.
but we've
since.
gotten better.
Yes.
So this is actually underselling how well the power picks have done, and they are free. So we appreciate Sam Houston. They're a big part of the reason they are free to our users. And free is great, but the fact that we're now 8, 9 weeks into the meet, and the flat, it's pretty much break even over the 9 weeks, but this month it's a big time positive. They've started appearing on the feed, so we're pretty proud of that. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that we have our selections showing up on the track feed is pretty cool as well.
Love it.
Everybody's thoughts out there. Nick, Jess, when she does it on occasion,
Trey, Andy,
everybody.
Everybody.
Horse Racing Nation.
Yeah, love Sam Houston, 12% takeout. Here's running through the scratches. That race 10 was the big one scratch-wise. The only dirt sprint of the sequence as well. So an interesting race for sure. 10 is even money. I'm not sure how you feel. The fact that you were willing to go too deep, probably maybe think that's a little light. I actually think that's fair.
I would think that's fair as well. I think I kind of just wanted to take a shot with someone else just in case.
Yeah.
I have no doubts that the 10 is the most likely winner through and through, but
Now
just
6
in
to 5.
case. Just in case, I felt that the 3 was the most likely second place finisher, so why not include on the ticket when
Sure.
the ticket's fairly small with all those scratches anyway now.
Right. Yeah, your ticket
Took a small hit.
able to play economically. So.
Yeah.
Anything else here? I mean, I guess the 4 at 3 to 1. I mean, I had ranked 5th, so obviously in a 9-horse field. For me, not even in the top half of the grouping to be 3 to 1 is a fade in my mind. I don't like the 9 either. It's 6 to 1. So to me, even loving the 10, which 6 to 5 I think is fair win wise, but I mean there's some opportunity vertically here too. I don't mind the 5. I don't mind the 2.
I was gonna say a nice 10-3-5 try wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. Feel like I need to get in the pools here. What do y'all think out there? Let's see. M Justice Any thoughts on Major General running in Tampa Bay Derby this week? We will get to the Derby stuff. Have you looked at Tampa yet?
Not a ton, but I did recommend that we discuss it, so we probably should.
Yes. All right. Well, hold that thought. We're going to get to the 8th at Parx, start of the pick 4, second leg of the pick 5 with that $3 million pool. So we will be getting to Derby, not only the Tampa Bay Derby this weekend, but also the future wager for both the Oaks and Derby, which I think is particularly interesting because you have a Oaks contender who the trainer has said may be a Derby contender, which could help your price in the Oaks, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if Secret Oath does go to the Derby, it makes the Oaks quite a bit more interesting as well, because I think we've seen a lot of different talented 3-year-old fillies that really have yet to match up against each other to kind of see who ranks where when they actually run the races versus each other. Whereas I feel like with the 3-year-old colts, we've seen a couple. I mean, Forbidden Kingdom has really stood out after this past performance.
Yes, I thought that was spectacular.
Stretched out no problem and just ran them off their feet. That was an absolutely amazing performance. But I think him aside, it's a pretty even playing field amongst the 3-year-old colts. So
yes,
I'm interested to see what happens with Secret Oath. And I think we could also talk about the Fountain of Youth after this race goes off as well, because there was some interesting stuff going on there. My exacta fell down in that race. That looked very scary, so I'm just glad that both horses and both riders ended up being okay out of that situation, because it was pretty alarming to see.
All right, well, let's see what happens here in the Parx 8th.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I missed you last week. There was so much room up here. I didn't know what to do.
Oh, that's right, because Mark was remote too. Yeah.
Virtual. Yeah. I lost him at one point, and I was like, oh no.
We had Rennie.
Yes, thankfully, in digital spirit.
So the 10 ends up at 1-2, which I'm glad I did not play to win. I would not.
Yeah, what's the point? Most likely winner, but at 1-2.
I have bet horses at 1-2 before, knowing they'd be 1-2, but.
I would if it was a horse that's kind of like that champion that you know is going to
I bet Songbird at 1-5.
In which race?
The Santa Anita Oaks, I think it was.
Okay. Like Latruska's a horse I'd take at 1-2.
In the right spot.
Right.
Not in the distaff, I hope.
I did. I actually did a small note write-up that I posted on Twitter about how I thought she wasn't going to win that race. Not that I picked the winner, but I thought that it was not going to be her race.
Well, I got known as Ed DeRoasted because I got blasted. No, I said that Latruska shouldn't be considered a horse of the year candidate without beating males, and TVG took me to task. But
this is not really what you want to see from your 1-2.
No, I mean, thankfully, no one's like.
Well, I mean, now.
Yeah.
Gonna have to keep on trucking here.
He's beat.
Yeah. Well,
I thought that was an extremely overconfident ride. Which
I don't know if he maybe just didn't have
maybe
the horse.
He didn't have the horse, but when you go 1-14-4 on a 1-2,
or were they just really slowing down because of the track? I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you have that too anywhere?
We're pretty thin now.
The rest of the way.
The rest of the way, yeah. That's we're gonna have to really be right.
Well, I'm out, but that's all right. The 5 ran pretty well. The 3 did not show up, but neither did the 9.
I would say the 10 didn't show up at 1-2. I mean, I don't know how you just sit that trip in 48-3 and
yeah,
very, very one-paced.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, the 7 who was up there on the lead finished last. So I'm not that I want to make any excuses for this horse, but I would say that at this level, to be in a contentious in quotations, early on with the other pace setter finishing last, the 3 finishing nowhere, I don't know. But again, glad we didn't bet that horse to win.
Right. No, yeah. 1-2, that's a tough pill there. Well, I am live though.
You are. What do you have the rest of the way? So we can
Seven
follow
with
along.
9 with 1, 4, 5, 10, 13.
Oh, at least you have some coverage in the last leg. 1,
Yeah,
4,
I mean it's the two
5,
favorites. I mean,
13.
maybe it chalks out, and
I mean, I think the 7 and the 9 are the most likely winners of the next 2
right.
races. So
And that's a separator for sure.
this too, of course. Oh, absolutely. I'm sure plenty of people singled the 10.
Many of my tickets single to 10, so yes,
You
without
included.
a doubt. Beautiful day in Bensalem.
I said to Matt one time, our coworker Matt, I asked him if he had ever seen the series of Unfortunate Events movie. Have you?
No,
Have you read the books?
no.
Have you learned anything about the series of Unfortunate Events whatsoever to get what I'm about to reference?
Probably not, but
Well, it's a very depressing like book series, and in the movie, it's just all very like dark and dreary and grim. And I said Parx kind of looks like that sometimes.
It's
especially today.
Yeah. Some people there though.
Yeah, this looks like a happy couple with their horse there. It's very cute.
Owner trainer.
Yeah, nice.
Wearing the coveralls.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Carhartt?
I think you'll have to ask, but the shoes match swimmingly.
Yeah, no, that's
that's a fit.
It's actually the first time they've met.
He's just asking someone random, hey, jump in this photo with my horse and I.
Yeah, look at man. Parks in late winter, nothing like it.
Yeah. Or early spring. Are you glass half full, glass half empty?
I'm very regimented about seasons, and this is winter until March 20th.
By the calendar?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm an equinox guy.
Sure.
So yeah, solstice, equinox, that's the line for me.
All right. Well.
Dang.
It's a nice little trophy. Cute.
They ripped it out of his hand there, though.
Now,
all right.
We have another race at Parx.
Well, one more race at
Sam
Parx,
Houston,
and then
right?
yes. Wrap up.
Okay.
And looks like a chalky start to the Sam Houston proceedings.
Yeah, I would say so. I am against who I think is going to be the favorite in the first race, but only with the second choice. So.
I mean, I think that horse will be 3 to 5. So.
The 2?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, the 5.
In race 1?
Mm-hmm.
You think the 5? Well, the 5 was taking a lot of early money.
Well, who do you like?
I like the 1.
Oh.
I just think the 1 will be in front.
All right. I love the 5.
Oh, I know.
Who do you think's going to be the favorite?
The 2.
Oh.
We'll have to find out.
Well, you'll be the third choice then.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
in
you'll
a
be
6-horse field.
Yeah, but
yeah.
And the horse in the next is a cinch, so 12% takeout double.
Who's the one in the next that you think is a cinch?
The 5.
Really? Well, yeah, absolutely. I do have a little bit of a long shot to talk about when we get there. It was 20 to 1 on the morning line. I don't think that horse is winning, but underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get a little slice.
Right.
Very eager to see what the board opens up here because
I'm sure the 7's going to be a big
in
favorite. 3 to 5.
I mean, that my money's in, so I mean.
Yeah, you're locked.
I'd like to see it be 1 to 20.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
No, but like, oh.
Yeah.
Although they lose too.
I mean, they just did.
Yeah, I thought. I mean, I will say.
I mean,
watching this now, and it's
asking,
like, oh, a little overconfident, but he put the horse in a great
asking.
spot, and there's no reason at 1 to 2 against this group, as good as he thought, that from there he shouldn't have won. So
I don't know. If
pardon me for saying a little overconfident. That was the horse just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I think something may have gone amiss today, unlike the last 2 races, because he was asking the horse to be in that spot, whereas the 3 hadn't been asked yet to be up on the inside. The 7 wasn't being asked at all, and you can see him moving his hands on the 10 as we're rewatching this now. Like he just took a look over, sees other horses coming in, and now he's really asking. And the horse is kind of just slowly going up, and then the horse never really gets a clear advantage of more than like a half a length at any point.
Right.
And all of these other horses, the 3 drops back, the 9 drops back, the 5 looks like is going to make a decent run and then kind of stalls out. So.
Well, we mentioned it.
It looks overconfident
before the opening,
here.
or we mentioned it after the opening leg, but I mean, again, the inside. I mean, the 2 scraped the paint the whole way.
Mm-hmm.
Now here, he definitely at first was looking to go outside, and the jockey made a great move because if he had done that, he would have ran into the 5 or the 4.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish he had, because then the 10 would have won. But that was a great move to duck back inside because he had won the race. So
I think maybe at the top of the stretch, the jockey may have thought no one else was coming, but I don't think he had a lot of horse at his disposal at any point in that race.
Right.
And he should have.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll work out.
You've got a shot.
Yeah. I feel better about. I think I like this one a little better, but I mean, really, they're both the most likely winner.
I would say so.
The double was 54-1. So.
Yeah, I think that too might be the saver of the sequence to offer some value with the 7 and 9, and then if you get the best price out of your options in the last, you could be walking away pretty happy in here.
I wouldn't mind walking away pretty happy.
Yeah, I mean,
walking on sunshine.
I don't know if we're gonna go that far. It's not spring yet.
That is true. It is not quite spring. All right, well, the late pick 3 is coming up. Before we get to that, which guessing 18 or so minutes to post, we will get back to Mr. Justice or Miss Justice, who had been wondering about Major General, Tampa Bay Derby, which is Charge It in or not?
I don't know. They did just draw, didn't they?
Yeah. A look-see.
Let's see what we have here. This isn't it. That's an old article. That's awesome, not it? I guess I could look on our website. Well, we know Classic Causeway is in there.
Yes. Who I'm still not sold on, but.
You know, I felt as though the last race was the time for that horse to show up and finally prove all the hype, and he did show up. And he did. But I would agree with you. I'm not totally in his camp yet. I think that was a good last race. He's probably the horse to be in here. Go ahead.
Now the horse was even money, so I guess hard to say like a surprise or where did that come from, whatever. Forbidden Kingdom, is that it?
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely a breakout performance. Now at even money, expected to win. I don't know that any of us expected that. I certainly didn't. I was wowed, but to me, with this 3-year-old crop, that's kind of where I'm at in terms of wanting to see those types of performances that say that they're actually ahead of the class versus just one of several that are capable of running a grade 2 race that wins a prep.
Right.
That to me, granted, mile and a 16, a lot different than a mile and a quarter, especially given these out of a 5-star day mare. But
I mean, American Pharoah.
Right. That to me just like runs them off their feet. If he can go on with it, then he's going to be tough to beat. So we'll see what else we can see based on these other preps. But that to me was our first, like, okay, this is a grade 1 type animal.
Mm-hmm. I think there were so many performances on Saturday, not only the 3-year-old Colts and Fillies, but just in general, where I kept looking at the TV and just being like, wow, that one was great. And then the next one was like, wow, that horse ran. She hasn't run as fast as some of the other horses, but I'm really impressed with Kathleen O. I mean, in the pick 5 that I won at Aqueduct, that was my first ever pick 5 hit. And I was watching the horses in the paddock for that race, and we were talking about it.
Yeah.
We hadn't met yet, but I remember we were talking about it, and I singled her. And I know that she was a short price, but she wasn't the favorite in there. And the gates broke open, and I was like, well, that's over. Because she just didn't break at all. And then I don't think I've ever seen a maiden winner, at least not recently, where they get into the stretch and the horse is nowhere. And they keep going and not on the screen. It was a sloppy track that day, just absolutely nowhere. And then just comes flying into the picture to get the win.
Yeah.
And so
It's impressive.
obviously she needs to break and improve speed figure wise and face some stiffer competition. But I just saw how loaded Javier Castellano was riding her last time on Saturday. And the second he found room and was just like, let's go, the horse took off. And I think that it's really impressive to have a horse in their third start only kind of just be so push button like that, to find the room and be like, let's go. And they just go.
And they went.
Yeah.
She went.
Mm-hmm.
And went again.
Hmm?
So would you bet her in the Oaks future?
Maybe. I feel like I need to see one more like step up.
But if you see that, then the price is gone.
Well, I'm not really into the futures.
Yeah.
It's not really my style.
Your Stila.
Sure. I finally found these entries after
okay.
forever.
Yeah.
So Classic Causeway was breaking from post number 4. Giant Game is in here.
Oh.
Yeah. Should I just read them?
Yeah.
You can't see this, can you?
No.
Number 1, Grantham. Number 2, Trademark. Number 3, Happy Boy Rocket. Number 4, Classic Causeway. 5, Giant Game. 6, Golden Glider. 7, Strike Card. 8, Major General. 9, Shipsational. 10, Belgrade. 11, Money Supply. And 12, Spin Wheel. No charge.
No charge. Yeah. Steve just chimed in. Frequent streamer. We appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so no charge it. So where's he going then?
I wonder if he'll go right to the Florida Derby. If he's ready to take a shot at any of these preps, I wonder if that's where they'll put him.
Is he Pletcher?
Yes. Yep. That's still my Derby horse as of now.
Yeah. Would you play him in the future?
Maybe if the price was right. Maybe. Let's see what he's been up to. He's been working pretty well. Yeah, I wonder what the plan's going to be. But in here, obviously Classic Causeway makes a lot of sense, but I do really like Shipsational quite a bit. He ran second to Classic Causeway last time
I feel
out.
like I've bet him every time he's lost.
He hasn't lost that much.
Well, last time.
Well, let's see. I mean, 5 career starts, 3 wins.
So I bet the other 2. What were the 2 losses last time?
Saratoga, the Funny Side Stakes, some New York bred type stuff. You probably just bet him last time.
Really stuck it to me.
Right.
Yep. He wanted to know about Shipsational.
Yeah. No, I like that horse quite a bit. I liked him and Volcanic going into that race. Volcanic was 3rd, Shipsational was 2nd. So
2 good names.
yeah, I'm a fan.
What's Volcanic done?
Well, he was the one that finished ahead of Charge It.
Oh, okay.
In Charge It's first race. And I had liked Volcanic a bit in New York over the summer. And then he was on a layoff. Then he comes back. Ran pretty well. And was 3rd. I wonder what's up with him next. But I'm a fan. Anyone else in that field speak out to you? Yeah, no.
No, more research needed. I am in a contest though, which uses the Tampa card Saturday. So
okay, already it's only Wednesday.
What do you mean already?
You're already in a contest for Saturday?
Well, it's that league each week. So
yes,
Tampa's the track Saturday. Yeah.
Gotcha. I was gonna say you've really planned ahead with your horse turning.
But well,
and other things.
Of course. But always good to hear Beam. I think he called the Sam F. Davis, but this is his first year calling Derby and Oaks points races.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So, good for him.
Yeah. It's one of my
one of your friends?
First people I remember really conversing with on Twitter.
Really? You're one of my first.
09-ish, I think. Yeah, I was still at Thoroughbred Time, so.
Wow,
yeah,
really?
Jason's
Back
great.
in the day?
Oh, yeah. Back in the day, Cafe.
Cafe Society. Do you know, are you a fan of that horse much? Do you know what I'm talking about? Oh, she was just second at Gulfstream. She's kind of highly touted. Heavy favorite.
Chad Brown?
No. Who is she with?
Safi Yosef?
I don't think so. She was heavily favored and couldn't really find room in the stretch, but then when she was finally free, didn't really have a ton. I bet her, so I just remember it staying with Shug.
Wow.
Yeah.
One of the first time I ever called Shug, but called him for an interview, and he asked if he could call me back because he was trying on some pants.
That's a great story. Also, I love
I
that
thought
he
it was
answered.
he answered. Well, I was telling Mark, the New York guys are easier for me to get a hold of because they see the 859 and it's someone in Lexington. So is it the farm? Is
So
it
you think
an owner?
So you seem more important.
Yes.
I see.
Whereas around here, it's a local number, and it's like, oh, well, if I don't know that, like, why I don't know this 859 number. But yeah, so Shug answered and was.
That's very polite.
And he called me back. That's the key.
Wow.
Like,
Well, did he buy the pants?
I was young and
Forgot to ask.
I think I wouldn't say forgot. I probably consciously was like, oh, I can't ask this guy if he bought the pants. Now I absolutely would ask him about the pants.
Do you ever have those moments where you're meeting someone for the first time, or it's someone that you don't really know that well, and you kind of have to decide when you can start making jokes and being totally yourself?
Right, like being in a relationship and it being okay to burp and other.
An interesting comparison,
bodily.
But I would say yes, that relates.
Yeah, well, we joke around.
Well, yeah. I feel like we joked around pretty early.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And it's rapport.
Right.
Some people are just going to be colleagues, and that's fine.
Some people don't think we're funny, I bet them.
I don't think there's even a need to bet on that. I think
that's a lot.
That's an accepted conclusion. Sentient, I don't know if any relation to the jet, but he says, hey, y'all. Are you familiar with the word yins?
Yins? Like yangs?
Like, instead of y'all, yins?
No.
Yeah. I think it's a Pittsburgh thing is
like
what I'm told,
youngins,
but I like it.
With shortened?
Like,
yin?
let's say there were a group of people here, I would say, hey, yins, want to go get some Skyline?
And they would say, absolutely not.
Hard pass. Well, Matt would say yes.
Yes, he would. He would go with you. I'm done with Skyline.
Done, yeah.
I mean, okay, I would try the hot dog, but the chilies, it has that weird sweetness to me that I know that you've said that you don't really notice, but it really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't like it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Steve Shug just roams around the picnic area in Saratoga. Always catches me off guard. Yeah, he's
Among Us.
I didn't realize this, like, because being a Cleveland guy and you see Shug's name, and growing up it was Easy Goer and Personal Ensign and Inside Information and Shug he's Shug. The Phipps stable, like this big name, and I just assumed that Shug must be this total blue blood and stodgy stuffed shirt because he trains for the Phipps. And yeah, I mean,
just a regular nice guy.
Which they all like. That's something you learn too. Like a lot of these, I mean, they're horsemen. They're
right.
Cowboys
Absolutely.
isn't necessarily the right term for some of them, but yeah, I mean, they're just dudes and ladies that like hanging out at the track. Like that's kind of have to be a trainer. So it was a wake up call for me though. Yeah, I definitely kind of had this image of if they train, they must be uppity, and that's maybe some owners are like that, but yeah, the trainers they're a good group, I think.
I would say so. I think when you're on the outside looking in at anything, you kind of have an idea of what the people are like in your head, or you have this separator of like, oh, like these people are famous or they're a certain way, or I can't just go up to them or whatever. But I think, and I don't really have another sport to compare this to, so I could be totally wrong, but I feel like in horse racing, the more like people you just kind of talk to, so far, I'm sure that there's people that aren't great, as there is in everything, but so far, everyone's very welcoming, and anybody that I've talked to has been great.
Well, good.
Yeah.
There appears to be a light missing on that tote board. Do you know which one it is?
A light missing,
yes.
Or a light misting in the weather?
A light that is out. There is a light that should be on that's not.
Well, now it's
That's
gone.
not.
Will you enlighten me?
The 7 was
Did you
12
get
to
it?
1. The light
In-
between the 1 and 2 was not. Because you wanted to.
in-
Oh, no, I didn't get it. I was too excited to show
Show
that
me
Parx
the
was
lights.
messing up. That I missed your clever joke.
Oh. See, I've been hanging out with you too much. I would have never made a joke like that before.
Really?
Really.
No. 1 to 2.
Feeling a little feisty out there.
If I were betting this race, which I kind of feel like at this point I can kind of stand pat on needing to do anything with the 7. I think 2, 6, 8, 10 are all worth trying to beat the other horses behind the 7.
2, 6.
I think 3, 4, and 9 are no more likely underneath than the other long prices on the board.
Yeah, I mean, the 7 has already beat the 3. The 3 was second or third to the 7 last time out. That was the race that Flat Out Flying was second, who is now out of this race. The 9 I did like a little bit. I used on my now dead ticket. But I did mention in my notes that Ruben Silvera, who had ridden the 9 in the last couple of starts, is now on the 7 in here. I don't read a ton into the musical jockeys, but I'm imagining since Ruben Silvera and Jamie Ness have such a clear connection that's why this is happening.
Right.
So the 9 is getting a new jockey. The 9 is 1 for 1 on a wet track, which could be a little bit interesting. But I mean, the 7 has handled the wet track several times, so I don't think it's that much of an edge. I did like the 2 a bit as a bit of a long shot in here. This horse was 8 to 1 on the morning line, currently 15 to 1, 2 back-to-back wins. I think it says a lot when a horse is popular in the claim box. It means that somebody is seeing something. They want this horse in their barn. They want to kind of find the right spot for this horse. It's kind of an indicator that there might be more potential than what the horse is showing on the track. So popular in the claim box. This horse is going out for new connections. This trainer, Mary Pattershaw, is only claimed 7 horses this year. That's what the stats said on DeRosa. But 29% with the move, so 2 for 7. So
who's done it?
Yeah, and also has a win in the second place on a wet track. So not impossible.
That's the 2?
Yes. Yep. Big, beautiful wall.
And to add to it, we've seen 2 route races so far. Mentioned the inside post having done well, and the one
is out, so now it gets the rail.
It gets the rail. The 1 won the first leg. That was the rail. The 2 won the second leg. The 1 was out. That was the rail. So I would say, if I were looking to make a win bet, I think the 2 at 12 to 1.
Yeah.
And liking the 7 as much as I do, and seeing that there's 3 other horses taking more money than the 2, I'd feel comfortable keying the 2 underneath the 7.
Yeah, I hear that.
So
I lost what I was
that's what I'll do
just now. Oh, I was gonna say that the 1 in the first leg in race 7 was only inside for a short portion of that race.
Yes.
But obviously saving ground at all in there made a difference because the horse just got up for the win.
And I mean, at that point, to make the winning move, needed to be where it was on the track.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, I have not watched the head-on back to know where he was on the backside. I would guess first turn, though, it was able to save ground.
I agree. And dropping so far back, too, should have been no problem.
Right. Why wouldn't you be?
Right. Especially breaking from the rail.
So, yeah, 7 to...
So you need the 7. You would place a win bet on the 2 in here at 12 to 1.
I would.
You would do the 7 over the 2. Anyone else in here?
No, I mentioned 6, 8, 10. Like, okay, yeah, the 3, 4, and 9 are taking money. I like the rest just as much, and they're all bigger prices. But just kind of playing that, the outside hasn't been great. I mean, the 10 got beat last race. That's probably not why, but still, no, agreed. But it's over, and I mean, maybe it's one of those, like, and I'm out of time, so I'm not playing it this way, but, maybe if you are going 7 over 2, 6, 8, 10, and you could press the 7 too, like something like that.
That's fair.
I wouldn't begrudge anyone from using the other prices. Maybe I do so too. I just think the 2 makes the most sense. And we're ready to roll.
Yeah. Feel bad for the gate crew on days like this. It looks very muddy out there. Well, there's Chris.
Yeah,
No.
the sound seems very muffled.
Yeah. Can they hear him? They as in our audience?
You know, that's a good question.
Should we mute
I
him
think
just
so.
in case?
We don't want him.
I mean,
then?
I adore Chris,
Although
but
it's really
we're
loud.
talking over him.
Well, and we don't even know how loud, like it's piping through.
Right.
I have the sound all the way up, and someone.
Don't do that. You'll land on the backdrop there.
So I'm happy about this.
Yeah, of course. Crosses in front.
I mean, maybe not so much this, but.
I mean, I don't perceive the 10 as a super serious threat, and the 10 is being asked to keep pace with the 7, who seems like he's under a pretty snug hold, just skipping along out there. So. Seems content, yeah, and then just asked a little bit and immediately quickens while the 10 starts to kind of drop back. Do you watch the jockeys' movements at all while you're watching races?
I would say I watch that more than
where the horse is.
Well,
how the horse is moving, I should say.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's just more.
It's easier to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm just in tune with it.
I think if you're.
I will say when you learn that, like, it can ruin the race because you know you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're.
That's fair.
Now I definitely don't like ever the jockey looking back. Like that to me.
Now there was a race at Aqueduct that has been quite the buzz race.
Like in this case, thankfully he had enough. But there are instances where I've seen that move, and I used to think, oh, he's looking back because he has so much horse and he's just waiting. And I've come to find out more often than not, it means they're out of horse and don't want to like back into somebody. But
yeah, I mean, this horse
that
was
as easy as you could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did the 2 finish out? Nowhere. Yeah.
They don't pay for that.
No. Well,
live in the pick 5 though.
Okay. I didn't know you played a pick 5 too. Oh, the same one. I thought we were talking about a pick 6 for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
We talk about so many of those.
Next time we do this though, we should do a first 3, last 3 pick 6 with.
Ooh, like a cross country.
We should get like with Penn National. We should see if they would come up with the bet, and then we're the.
Yeah. Just you and I, the bookkeepers.
And our 19 closest friends. Oh no, make it a real bet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's as easy as it can be. Much easier than the effort from the 10 in the previous race. But he had horse the whole time. You could just tell.
Right.
He didn't really ask. I will say I can appreciate the one look back, kind of just like a quick peek under the shoulder.
Which that's what that was.
Right.
He took a peek and.
Okay, I'm good. Continue on. When it's a couple of times, what are you doing? Like, I was talking about this with a friend the other day who isn't super into racing, but has ridden horses at different levels of competition. And she was like, they always say, like, don't look at the jump once you're over it. Like, look where you're going. It's one of the first things that you learn anytime you sit on a horse. You want to look where you're going, not next to you, not behind you. It's just silly.
Oh, where's the HRN?
You're going to have to send an email.
Tersely worded.
I'm sure it won't be, but will you get rid of the volume thing?
Oh, yeah.
So the 2 is favored.
The 2 is favored. I love the 5 here.
Yeah, I feel like the 1's going to be in front of the 5, and this is a sprint, right? Let me double check my notes. Yeah, 6 furlongs on the dirt to start us off. I feel like the 1 has more natural speed. I don't know that the 5's going to be able to put on enough pace pressure to really confront that 1 early. And I think that if they do, they're going to just end up setting it up for the 2. Because
so this is interesting. The double, and like I said, the 5 in the next, I think is Lock City. Okay. So based on that, the double we just saw, the 5 is going to be the favorite in the win pool.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, then I would, not that
I can't imagine at this point, though, seeing anything that you wouldn't be playing the 2.
You wouldn't be playing the 2? You mean against the 2?
I'm sorry. That you wouldn't be playing the 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 7-2 on the morning line, 4-1, even if that goes down a little bit with 2 horses at a shorter price. For the horse that I think is the most likely winner and who's going to be in front early for Rye Eichelberry and Carl Broberg. Seems
Well,
legit to me.
Sentient knows what's up.
According to Briz, 5 best speed with the distance runs to the speed. Huh? Okay.
Which
Which is
that's
what
how
you
I landed.
use,
Right.
yes.
I am a BurstNet user. Now the other stuff I use though backed it up too. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have the 1, 2, and 5 as the contenders.
This is the Brisk portion of my handicapping, and then this is Ragazine and.
Do you think anyone can actually see that?
No, absolutely not.
But
yeah,
we have very different styles. Meanwhile, I'm just like a page.
We both have small handwriting though.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like mine's a little more detailed out than yours.
Well, yours is words and mine's numbers.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. For me, when I write,
I'm a Capricorn, so isn't that a numbers sign? I
guess. I honestly, for as into astrology as I am, I don't know a lot of Capricorns. I know like 3 or 4.
Joe Christofek.
Yeah, I did wish him a happy birthday because Facebook told me when his birthday was.
Yeah, and it was accurate. James Scully.
Okay.
Jesus.
Christ.
If December 25th is really his birthday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, you're right about that.
But I've read some literature that indicates it might actually have been in spring.
Oh, God.
Is that where you're heading? It's snowing?
Yes. Sorry to interrupt the live feed, but this was an extremely important, unfortunate update. I'm driving back to Massachusetts this evening, which is one of my poor life decisions to take that trek in the evening. But it's currently snowing there, and I'm not looking forward to it.
As long as most of the drive it's not snowing.
Oh, I'm not worried about driving in the snow. I'm worried about being in the snow.
Now, do you go through Ohio or to West Virginia and then north?
So I've only done this drive a couple of times, and each time it's been a little bit different. The route that I was looking at last night is actually through Pennsylvania. The way that I took to come here when I first moved here in January was through Buffalo.
Right, and then down to Cleveland and Columbus.
And it was cold in Buffalo in January, so I don't want to do that again. Not that it won't be a little bit warmer, but...
Well, that's why they call it Buffalo cold.
You just made that up. Yeah, no.
It is cold, though.
It is cold, so I don't really want to do that again, but I have a blanket in the car. It'll be fine. You're watching the dog.
I am.
Are you so excited?
The kids are excited.
Good. Are you so excited?
I'm nervous.
Why? I trust you.
That makes it worse.
Why? She's microchipped. If anything happens,
No, a microchip is key.
Yeah.
Because our cat got out.
Oh, really?
He was
I just realized I didn't write you any notes yet. I'm going to do that before we leave tonight.
No.
Notes for it.
So 5 minutes to post here in the opener. Yeah, it's Sam Houston.
You love the 5. I
love the 5.
Do we like the 2 at all? I mean,
no, we don't.
I think the 3rd likeliest winner and the shortest price.
I'm curious where the win odds fall because I feel this is a situation. I like the 5 so much. There's really no point in playing
anybody else,
anything else but to win at that price. Now, if we're talking about 4 to 5 and the 5-1 exacta, which currently is $11, like, okay, maybe that's a little better, but
I mean, the odds did change just a little bit just now.
Yeah.
So I'm sure within the 4 minutes before they get to the gate, could be favored. Is that Luis Saez I see on your screen there?
Is it?
I think that was him.
Does Naira Bets have the what's it called? Media rights to Luis?
I'm sure he's okay with it. He did win the Belmont Stakes, didn't he?
Central Quality. Oh yeah, because Godolphin. I always think Cox, so I think Florent, but then I have to.
I feel like Brad has really branched out with his choice of riders. Recently. I
mean, Godolphin's going to use Saez, which Kieran, being his agent.
Yeah, convenient.
It's a big in.
Mm-hmm. Kieran trained Alpha, right?
Yes. Dead heat winner of the Travers.
Yes.
Do you remember the other winner?
I know it was kind of a price, and I feel like it was the number 4.
Big price.
Was it the number 4? And Alpha was
That I don't know, which is rare because I'm a
something ticket.
yes.
Golden ticket.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Trivia for the day.
Charlie Bucket.
Charlie Bucket. Who's that?
The kid
like
who gets
Charlie...
the golden ticket.
Gotcha. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
I need to know what numbers they were now. Dead Heat. Travers. I remember
11-4.
I remember Alpha so well because I've watched the Breeders' Cup Juvenile that Hansen won like a million times over, so I have Trevor Denman's call like memorized in my head. And I remember that Alpha was acting up in the gate prior to that race starting, so I remember him being like, "That was Alpha."
I like Steve. He knows every reference I make.
Grandpa Joe. Yeah, I bet.
That's
Couldn't get out of bed and then suddenly jumps up for the.
That's how they end up in
Parx.
that one room thing. He was probably a recovering gambleaholic.
Oh, he was probably recovering something else.
He didn't want to get out of bed because he knew it would trigger him, and then he ends up in that sugar palace of Wonka's.
Yep. The original movie, The Boat Ride, creepy, so creepy.
Oh yeah.
Very scary.
Scary?
Well, I mean.
Yeah,
like,
to a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Like as a little kid, and like the rest of the movie is like happy, jolly candy, and then you have this like super creepy, trippy boat
But
ride.
even, I mean, now as an adult, like the whole
Why
thing has an element of creepiness to it.
Oh, of course, especially if you see the remake, the Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah.
That one's very creepy.
Now, to me, the opening of that creeped me out more than.
It's been a while since.
But I thought Gene Wilder's Wonka was overall creepier.
Really?
Yeah.
I felt like his.
Just because had like the anger thing with it. And...
I felt like his Wonka honestly was a little more approachable, whereas the Johnny Depp was, of course, darker. But I mean, obviously that was the point.
Right.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
Are you a fan or not really? Can appreciate.
Yeah, I appreciate.
I love him.
I definitely don't not like, but it's not like, oh.
Yeah. I love Sweeney Todd. That's a great movie.
I've not seen his interpretation.
Wow.
I'm such a purist when it comes to the theater.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess we'll have to watch Sweeney Todd sometime. Maybe on live stream so everyone can see your reactions.
It's a horror thing, right?
Yeah, it's kind of spooky, but it's also a musical.
Well, that's what I'm familiar with.
Right.
But the movie is the musical.
Well, yes, and it's also creepy.
Right.
Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter and all that.
Sentient hits the THC. I thought Snape was Harry Potter.
Well, Snape's actor.
Oh, okay. So kind of like if something has Ian McKellen, you would say Gandalf.
Yes, it's kind of just like who they are always. Right. Like Daniel Radcliffe will always be Harry Potter no matter what else he does.
Who else is like that?
I mean, Snape. I don't know who else.
So if you were in Harry Potter,
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Emma Watson has been in other
curse.
things though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously everyone still associates her with that role.
I mean, Ian McKellen is so amazing, but for me, like I can't not see Gandalf.
That's more than fair.
But.
Well, your 5 is favored.
Yeah, I'm still gonna bet.
Do it.
Actually, I'm gonna see what the double is. 3-1.
Go for it. I mean, if you really love this horse.
Yeah.
Not like you wouldn't have done it anyway, but. Well, now.
Although I did say after all that, I'm just betting to win.
Now the 1 is a shorter price than the 2. Yeah. See, all these things keep changing so much up until the gate, and then I feel like once the gate opens, it's going to be something totally different too. So.
How much time to Parx?
12 minutes.
12 minutes. All right, so we'll be on a good
back and forth.
Yeah,
it's nice having 2 tracks to talk about, a little bit less time.
Yes.
Just staring at us.
I definitely think just knowing through the weeks when people are watching and not, I definitely think next week maybe we shoot for Sam Houston and Turfway.
Sure, maybe we want to start a little later.
Which is at 6.
I think we'll have to tell Ron Flatter that we're starting a bit later.
Well, later I think benefits them more than early.
Yes, I would say so.
But
I think
they still should know the scoop.
Yes, the awareness of what's going to happen.
Yeah. So they're off at Sam Houston.
They are, and not a very aggressive early ride from Rye on number 1. So your 5 has the pace advantage, but is being tackled by some long shots out there. So
is between
a hotter pace than I imagined. But it seems like it might end up setting up well for the 1 and the 2 if they can close into this.
No, if there were in race betting, I'd be curious of the price on the 1.
Yeah, that's a quick quarter for this group. You would think it would set up perfectly for the 2 now.
Yeah. I'm pretty impressed with the 6 hanging around.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
1's being pretty hard ridden, so I wouldn't mind seeing the 5 drop him off here, but
that was an interesting lead change on the 1. Look at the 6 horse go. And then the 4 with the re-rally.
4 up the right. Yeah,
the 5 super game. He's holding on there.
Yeah, I've seen this. He ends up 3rd.
Yeah. Second.
Yeah.
He fought though. I mean, that was a big race from that horse to take pressure the whole way.
Between horses the whole way.
Right, but smooth moves on the 4 to kind of drop off that pace, sit back, and then make the run up the rail to win. So.
And I'm happy to say I forgot with our early start time, just didn't get to it. Did not play horse tourneys, which I would have used the 5 here, but less important than that, right? I mean, more important, why I'm happy I didn't play, not because he got beat, but with the 4 winning, and I'm guessing a price, 28 to 1.
Wow.
You're out.
Wow, yeah, it's over. Whoever that had that horse.
Right.
Yeah. I've only played a couple times, one of which was against Bobby Flay.
That's right.
Yeah, and I was like, is this really? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah, 28 to 1.
In a 6 horse field, very nice.
Fantastic ride by the winner.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of Gerardo Mora.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Calhoun's having let's say I kind of was thinking a rough meet, but 22%.
That horse ran the best race.
Yeah, but between horses with on money, also 28 to 1.
$25,000 claimers and a quarter and 22 and still hanging around like that. Yeah, good race. Just got beat by a better ride, I would say.
Yeah, because if I don't really know what happens if the 4 engages the whole way, but.
Oh, they probably all cancel each other out. But I don't know that anyone's really coming for them because the 2 and the 1 kind of did nothing. So, interesting stuff. Are we heading back to Parx?
Heading back to Parx.
You need number 9, Brazen, in here to staying alive.
Yeah. Real quick with Sentient. For whatever reason, Sam Houston, I mean, I think the pools are probably smallish to begin with in the win pool. Like, it's just not a place at 10 minutes to post you have any semblance of the win money. That said, they definitely, to me, have some of the biggest drops in prices at the gate.
Yeah. Bringing up the cause, the computer automated wagering system.
And I realize saying that, maybe some kind of chicanery or whatever. I mean, I just think it's computers can play at the last second. So when they do,
Right. It's kind of just the world we live in now, and we're all going to have to sort of get used to it. Please take the volume thing off the thing.
Oh, yeah.
That guy and I have the same jacket, it looks like.
Is that a warm jacket? Yours anyway?
I mean, I don't know that it's exactly the same, but just looks the same. I enjoy mine.
I mean, it looks very comfortable.
Keeps me cozy. I think you're going to need a good jacket today at Parx with the dreary weather.
Yeah.
The horse that I did like in here is...
Nick Tamaro makes the morning line, which...
I mean, everybody's wrong sometimes.
I'm less harsh. I've definitely noticed, how does a 9 to 2 go off that big of a price? I mean, I never would have thought to make the 4 20 to 1 though. So
no, and what prices is he really supposed to make horses in a 6 horse field against each other? I will say with Nick,
but I do think it's tougher there because so much money is late.
Right.
And for him, he sees every race. I know he's paying attention, but when you see how people bet the race, when he's looking at the board before he has his binoculars on the the gate when they start, he's seeing a totally different board than actually happens. So
Right, absolutely.
I feel for him. That's a tough.
I was gonna
spot.
say one thing about Nick is that he's a person that really cares, and he's also not afraid to admit like, "Ooh, that was a miss," or "I should have done better with this," or "My bad. Next time I'll pay more attention to this." Like he really is very passionate about what he does in all aspects of his many hats that he wears. So I'm not usually quick to criticize somebody like that who makes the effort to always be improving and really cares about what they're doing. So. But I mean, we can all agree, kind of a miss. But I wouldn't have predicted that either.
No,
I don't want that job. So.
Not 20-1. I mean, I did think the 5 would be favored, but and he was, but he also didn't win. So
yeah. What I was gonna say, a horse in here that I really liked is so disadvantaged by the scratches of a couple of speeds in here, and his last race was not so good. So I would kind of be all in on this 9 horse. The 11 currently 9 to 5 though.
Yeah, I'm a little. Oops, sorry.
Morning line of 8 to 1.
I'm a little nervous about the 9. Well, the morning. I mean, this is a situation with all the scratches.
Right.
But I mean, I kind of thought the 9 was even money against the group that remains.
Yeah, I would say so, and I think is going to be either setting the pace or sitting up close. So I don't know if somebody kind of knows something about the 11, or if the 11 is one of the horses that is going to be pretty close to the pace, which crosses and clears. But I mean, now they're the same price. So.
And based on the double, the 9 is going to be $2 double is $8. So the 9 will probably be even money.
Yeah. I did really like the 5 Jam with Brandon prior to everything changing. Last time out, his effort was not good. That was a race that Brazen actually won, the 9. But it said in the short notes that he was reluctant to load that day. And prior to that start, he had been running fairly consistent fire speed figures in the 70s each time he went out for quite some time. So I don't know if that was kind of just like a one-off of not really feeling it that day or something went on there. But obviously, you don't want to see that heading into a race with the horse that already beat you last time in there again.
Yeah. No, I would say the 5 is my alternative. Definitely over the 11.
Yeah. I did look at the 2 again before the pace dynamics changed, but the same kind of story of like, okay, prior form versus most recent form, meh.
And this is a
dirt sprint.
Dirt sprint. So
the only sprint in the Philly Big 5.
That's right. Which we do have the matrix for, so I'm gonna actually pull that up. Maybe. I need to. There we go. So this is a little something we're working on here at Horse Racing Nation that some friends of ours from other horse racing media came up with, and we're gonna be doing some additional data points with it, etc. But these are the dirt sprints at Parx, and I've done this one since January, so pretty big sample size. Does it give the total number of races? Well, I guess you could add them up. So 82. Yeah, this is 170 some races. Definitely front end, about half. I do think it's pretty interesting post-wise, other than the fire outside.
Even enough.
Pretty even, and then with the scratches, I think it's pretty much it's even.
You're right.
So, but if we
just march on.
I hope I march on in the pick 5.
I hope so too.
But most recently, definitely still that half on the front end, but closer is a little not as good. And then also seems like inside a little better most recently.
Yeah.
Last 28 races. So I don't know. I mean, all things splitting hairs at equal prices, I greatly prefer the 9 to the 11. But even still, I would say I like the 5 more than the 11 at the current prices.
Right, and that makes sense for the prices, but I think just as far as pace dynamics, I would almost cross the 5 out as having a shot in here.
You would? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned the 2 earlier, who does get the rail because of the scratch in the 1. And 6, I actually thought maybe would be little higher now, 9-2. So late money on the 2 actually.
Yeah, I feel like people are kind of just wondering like where else do you go in here
Right.
if you don't like the 9. So
Yeah. Yeah, races like this, I don't mind narrowing because I do think, like, pari-mutually, people either do what I did, excuse me, which allows you to maybe spread elsewhere or not, or there's scratches and they think, well, I'll just add some other horses and maybe you don't need to. I actually went back and re-handicapped the race. I don't always do that, but I thought with uh, the 10 was a late scratch to me. Like I handicapped the race thinking the 10 was in, and I liked the 10. The first time I did it in the morning, the 1 was still in. So I had the 1 and 10 in. So when the 10 came out again, I was like, look, I'm just going to go through it again as if I hadn't looked at it before. And the 9 really stuck out to me. And I'm thinking to myself, most people have already made their plays. Maybe they were, let's say 2, 5, 9, 11, or 1, 2, 5, 9, 10, 11. Like this was a spread leg. They lost 2. Maybe they keep the rest. Maybe they add to it. But either way, I just felt like no one was singling the 9 to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, before scratches, I think you're totally right.
Right.
So,
and I think most players are not as disciplined as you. And like you basically scratched down to a single in the last leg that you didn't want to single. So you're like, that's not the ticket I came up with. It's not really my opinion anymore. You pass. That's great. But I think a lot of people are like, oh, it's cheaper now because I lost 2 of the 6 I was going to use.
right.
And sometimes that's fine. I mean, especially if, like, let's say you were playing against that 10 in the second leg and you knew that. Well, in that case, that's your opinion and just play the rest of the ticket. But in my case, I like the 2 preceding favorites. So it wasn't great that I ended up landing on a favorite, but I did end up landing on a horse I was willing to lean on, which hopefully will pay off.
Right. And it seems like you have more of an idea of where to go in the last race, whereas I was kind of stuck between those 2 horses.
Those were, I mean, I lost the 8, but I felt like this covers it.
Yeah.
And nothing changed for me losing the 8 other than 1 less horse.
See, but I really like the 8 in there, and I didn't really like the 5, so those were kind of the only 2. And then it was like, all right, if I take those 2 out, I don't have a strong opinion on this last race whatsoever. If I'm going to proceed with this ticket, I would want much more coverage in the last leg. So.
And I empathize because I also did not. I mean, I used the 5 because I recognize, okay, I'm deep. If I get to this point, last leg, it's a horse I want to be live to, even if it's not going to be huge. But yeah, it was definitely by no means one I was really excited about. But it's the only horse you were left with. My man Mike in Texas had as his top pick. So I was like, all right, I got it.
Yeah, I mean,
got to use.
I think I wrote, if the horse shows up, is much the horse to beat. But I think the last 2 kind of just left a bad taste in my mouth about this horse, but is dropping in class, so maybe that wakes the horse up a little bit. However, it's kind of just a drop from the $15,000 claiming level to the $7,500, so it's not a huge drop off.
Right.
So.
So Jay is taking a double 9 with 2, 4.
Okay.
I will take a 9 with 4.
Yep.
A 9-2 would not be so good for me. But Jay likes the 9, as does Sentience, he of the Blazing Saddles during Wonka. Thinks it'll be tough to beat the 9. 8-5. I thought the horse would be 4-5 or even money. So I mean, whether it's all these scratches and people just don't know how to bet it and they punt it, and the real money isn't in the pool, we'll see. It kind of scares me though, as someone who's single to the 9, like, why aren't they betting this horse?
Yeah, I just didn't really see it with the 11, but it seems like a lot of people did. So now that they're off, we'll see what happens. But I do like the 9 being asked to go to the front end in here.
Especially I thought the 2 from the rail would go and is going to end up having a clear path to the front anyway. Yeah. So will. But yeah, I think I like that the 9 got the position it got, because
there's the look over the shoulder.
If it had kind of tried to tuck and be cute and save ground behind, what is that, the 6 and 8?
That wouldn't have been
a really bad spot.
Right, so. Absolutely. So, really looking around.
But I mean,
One more look.
at this point, the 2's already going to the crop.
Right.
So
yeah, the 2 was kind of hard pressed to get that position. So I don't love that crossing over, but I don't think it's going to make a difference. Now you just need the horse to kind of finish the job. I think you're all set.
Are they going to look at it though?
No, I don't think so. Because I think it's kind of that like the 2 ends up finishing 5th, never really gained after that happened.
Right.
If the 2 was like much closer to finishing 2nd or something like that, maybe. I don't know. Do you think they're going to look at it?
I mean, I don't love it. Although I do think it's a funky angle too, because the 2 kind of comes out off the turn. So,
right.
And I'm with you. And then, I mean, the rider wrap, well, he went to the crop there. But
I mean, the horse was done. So
I just want to be live to the last leg. So.
I think you're good. I mean, look at the gap. Like, much the best in here. Yeah. So, do you know for Parx?
I still don't know what a thigh gap is.
A thigh gap? It's where you have a gap between your thighs.
Doesn't everybody?
I mean, yeah.
Is it bad to have one or good?
It's apparently good if you're into the trends of being super skinny and whatever.
Oh, so it's like a body thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm not with it.
Sometimes you're not. It's okay.
Well, I hear people talk about it. I'm like, what the heck? Like,
you haven't Googled it or anything?
Well,
you could.
They monitor our web use here, so.
No, they don't.
Would have been funny if you like threw your computer against the wall.
What?
I need a magnet.
I need to go. No, I'm not.
All right. Well, Jay is live in the double. I hope he hits with the 4.
I hope you do too.
Sentient, maybe bet. He said the 9 would be tough in here, yeah. So I would like to agree. Mm-hmm. I'm going to wait till it goes official before we bring back Sam Houston.
Okay, fair enough.
The 3 I had nowhere.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. So that was interesting.
What I will say though, I somewhat like the 2. I thought would be a longer price, but he was, I think, the 3rd choice. I didn't like the 11 at all.
Me either. That horse made no sense and took a lot of money.
And the 6 at 9-2, I wasn't over the moon with.
I feel like if you liked the 5, you had to at least look at the 6 sneakiness, since everybody's kind of coming out of that same race. The 5 ends up finishing 4th, so not totally out of ability, but I mean,
yeah, it was out of the frame though.
I thought it was.
Now, if you saw those cars, you'd be like, oh, it's packed.
Packed at Parx.
Packed at the casino
too. So you're alive.
I'm alive.
You're alive. 1, 4, 5, and 13.
1, 4, 5, 10, 13.
Oh, 10, 13. Okay. Well, this is exciting.
Might have something to. I mean, I would think.
You're
probably the lowest of those isn't going to be great.
Well, I mean, I think
it's
this
3
is
favorites.
The first time that we've been alive to the last leg
to
of
anything
on stream. So very excited.
Yeah.
First time showing Parx and a nice carryover, and you've got a shot. So
you got a shot, and with the shot. It's too bad it won't be over before this, because I just throw it all on the 5.
At 1 to 5.
Hey.
Well, you like this horse a lot, right?
I mean, at 1 to 5, you start to temper your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
But this would be an example of a horse I would bet at 3 to 5.
Okay. I mean, I think is the best horse in the race for sure. Has won over several of these before, so I will talk about my long shot a little bit.
Please.
When you fix the screen, because it'll bother me until then.
Oh. Okay.
The 4, Preferito de Barbie. I'm probably not saying that correctly, but
yeah, close enough.
Yeah, holding steady.
The 4
at the 20-1 morning line. This is kind of like something we were talking about earlier, where a horse is rather hot in the claim box, and isn't necessarily showing up on track, but somebody is seeing something in this animal to want them in their barn. And so I think you can kind of toss the last 2 races for this horse, because one was at the dirt routing, one was on the dirt routing. The last start was on the turf routing. Kind of showed a little bit of early interest in both of those races, and then nothing late. but cutting back in distance, this horse into the last dirt start was coming off a 10-month layoff, so big gap. But the speed figures prior to that layoff were fairly competitive with this group. I think the horse only started once in 2021. So this horse hasn't sprinted in a very long time. So now with Ronnie Cravens cutting back in distance,
and Ronnie's having a great meet.
Yeah, he's 15% first off the claim. I don't think this horse wins, but possibly one to use underneath in here, maybe doing something that they prefer. Maybe now third off the layoff is an improved horse, and I think that this horse has been in several different barns. So, like I said, somebody is seeing something to keep giving this horse a chance.
And at 20 to 1, you're going to give a chance.
Yeah, I'd find out.
Have you heard that pickup line before?
What?
My name's Chance. Do I have one?
No, I haven't.
No.
Did that work?
Oh,
in your lifetime?
I've never. I mean, we just laughed about it in the late 90s.
I wasn't really using a lot of pickup lines in the late 90s.
No.
At the kindergarten playground.
Yeah. No. Yeah, freshman year, someone said it. I mean, as a joke, but I had never heard it before, so I was like, oh, well.
Oh, hilarious.
And then I made a community chess joke, and it flopped.
Every time I hear the name Chance, I just think of the dog from Homeward Bound.
I've never seen, but
you've never seen Sweeney Todd. You've never seen Homeward Bound.
No, I don't like animal movies.
Well, Sweeney Todd's not an animal movie.
No, that was a Homeward Bound comment.
Okay.
Now, Project X is amazing. That's the exception to the rule. Matthew Broderick, Helen Hunt. It's about monkeys that they use for military research.
Oh. Okay, I would watch that.
Yeah, really good.
Do you not like the movies where animals talk?
Oh, the worst. Well, no, the worst is when babies talk.
Yeah, that's weird.
The worst. Well, so like Pixar stuff talking is fine.
Well, it's a cartoon, but it's different when it's like the real.
Anthropomorphic.
Yeah, that word. That I can spell.
Sentience down with Homeward Bound.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Now, for that one, though, he actually prefers acid.
I doubt it.
Is that like Beethoven?
Is it like Beethoven? Not really.
No.
Like Beethoven's like a series. Like I think of Beethoven, I think of like the Air Bud series and like all those movies where they just
Air Bud. Like no way would I ever watch that.
There are a couple Homeward Bounds, but I think the first one is kind of just like a classic. Well, one of the dogs almost dies and it's sad, and then he doesn't. Yeah.
So like Land Before Time.
Well, someone actually dies in Land Before Time.
I don't remember that then.
The first movie?
Yeah.
Littlefoot's mom?
Oh, see, I was thinking of when Petrie falls and they go to leave and he's okay. That made me cry. When he like climbs the cliff and he says, "You'd leave without Petrie?"
In which movie? The first one?
Yeah. Oh,
you know that I'm named after the dinosaur, Sara?
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
The one that's kind of a jerk.
Sentient says Homeward Bound would be depressing.
It would be. Yeah, that would be a very sad trip.
It's not animated though, right?
No, it's like real life action.
And Jay informs that it's based on the novel Incredible Journey.
It is.
You know who we haven't seen in the chat?
Josh, not Andrew?
Josh, not Andrew. I was actually thinking of Dennis Trusty.
Wonder if his security job is picking up at Churchill Downs.
No. They will have horses soon.
They're definitely going to need some security to keep somebody up. So.
Yeah, they know I'm lurking.
Yeah, you, for sure.
Well, so the track, I don't think they have to worry about it. It's me trying to park in my old spot.
Oh, yeah. So you had like nice beneficial employee parking.
Yes. When people ask me if I miss Churchill Downs, 100% miss the people I work with, although work with great people here, so that's a push. But the parking.
Prime.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that's going to be.
I parked somewhere way far away the one time that I went there because it was that Downs After Dark program.
Oh.
Some random street nearby.
Oh, you were on the street?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now it's crazy. I don't know if you've seen old pictures, but like a lot of that new parking area was a neighborhood.
Yeah. So it was
Churchill
like
bought it out.
the stadium and the track is here. I was parked like way down that way and then like in a few streets.
Toward the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, it was. It was quite the walk.
But
it was free.
I don't even want to think about it.
It was free.
Being subjected to that.
I like to park far away when I go alone places. Because, and this might sound counterintuitive, but if someone is following me, they're going to have to go for a hike to keep following me. And the more time, the more you know someone is following you because the crowd thins.
It's a great point. No. And just time to call or get your surroundings.
Recognize what's going on, do something about it. But also, like, if you're going to kidnap me, you got to work for it. We're going for a hike. Any final thoughts on this race?
I mean, I said I'd bet the 5 at 3-2, 3-5. So I'm gonna wait though. I've seen this play out before.
You've seen this show.
Yeah, and Mark actually thinks there's some instances of pool manipulation.
He does have some interesting theories about that.
Yeah, which particularly I don't necessarily disagree. To me, the line like. I do think occasionally it drifts into manipulation where the point is money is being put in for this purpose. So while only one ticket is live to the 8.
$1.
So I guess 2 tickets probably. Still. Oh, that's a scratch.
Yeah.
Hey.
Wouldn't that be a terrible day?
Yeah, and my 2 alternatives here at Sam Houston are the second and third choice. So I think a pick 4 starts here. Do you have anything?
I
didn't have anything clever.
I didn't go too far into the car journey ahead of me later on, so I kind of wanted to just stick to what we were going to actually be discussing. In the next race, I like the 1 and the 4, nothing super creative in there. I might try to beat the 5 with the 4 in here just for value, but it's not lost on me that the 5 is a likely single for a lot of people. But wouldn't you rather just play the 12% takeout dollar pick 3 starting in the next race instead of dealing with this 2-5, 1-5, 1-2?
Well, I wish I would have started 1 in the last race with the 28-1.
Oh, well, I wish I had that horse too.
But yes, the thing with Sam Houston, better take this off or we'll get in trouble. I think the way that they're all 12% takeout with the multi-race wagers, and then that pick 3 is that $1 instead of 50 cents, absolutely is. Especially if you like lower prices that everyone's going to have with this horse, it just makes sense to wait. Right. But if you like a bunch of $20 horses, then the pick 4.
I was going to say, I think this is a pretty interesting race so far. The 4 is getting everything its own way to me. Still holding on here on the front end with the 5 stalking in second. I don't know if he's going to hold on, but running his race so far.
Yeah.
Is it his? Yeah, his.
Everyone behind's pumping and popping, so.
I like that term, pumping and pop.
I got that from Tom Long.
Party started. Oh, he's still good.
Yeah, this.
Go, buddy, go.
Jockey's riding like he has a win bet.
Things maybe we don't joke about.
Well, when yes, I should add some context when I say that. A lot of times connections will get a win ticket for the connections. So I was thinking of that, not the jockey himself.
I'm really proud of the nice long shot I spied and gave out.
You did. That was a great
20-something to 1. Just gets beat by the super heavy favorite.
To me, and I've had this conversation with, Churchill, and it's like, how do we, what's the point of all this talking we do? We put a lot of resources into the show. what are people watching for? Like, how much information can we give 10 minutes to post? To me, the best information is someone like you or me or whoever, but knows what's going on. At a minute to post, being able to say, hey, the 5 looks great, but the 5, the 4 underneath, like that was the actionable opinion.
Oh, yeah, if you played 5-4.
But if you're a talking head, which we all are at times, and I've been, and it's 12 minutes to post, and you're talking about your top pick, well, what does that really help anyone that I like the 5 that far in advance? But going to the gate, you being able to say, hey, 5-4. And Keith?
There you go, across the board, so a little money underneath.
Yeah. K-Coop.
I like it. Maybe that's the nickname Keith will go by from now on, just because of you.
I bet he goes by KC.
But then people probably think the name is Casey. So 20-1 underneath the 1-5.
Yeah,
so
no, that's
cool. And I don't think the 4 is going to be 20-1 again, but probably a fairly decent price next time out, depending on who the horse is facing, and if staying at the sprint distance and gets to be controlling things on the front end, and it's not like those fractions were completely illegitimate. So
you know what the worst part is, though?
What?
We didn't get to hear Nick say Preferito to Barbie.
Oh, we're gonna have to rewatch the replay to find out how to say that one. I mean, 5's so much the best, though. I think that horse kind of like hesitated a little bit going to the stretch, like when they have their head up instead of down and forward. I feel like they have something more left in the tank, and they're not really running as forwardly as they could be. So then, once kept to task, ended up finishing up ears up at the wire. So much the best for Ryan Carl, the dynamic duo.
Couldn't get it done in the opener, though.
Well, that horse wasn't a heavy favorite. The 1?
Oh, they had the 1.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a formidable team.
Mm-hmm.
Rye.
We don't know.
Is he Santos Inc.?
Yes, I think he is, alongside Raylu, a bunch of others, right? So a $10.10 exacta for $1. So
yeah,
bad.
9-1.
Mm-hmm.
Beats 1-5.
Absolutely.
Matt's out.
Bye, Matt.
He just chucked the deuce. Matt and I had a lovely lunch today.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice. I wasn't here yet, but
yeah, we went to 4 Pegs. Really good wings.
Sweet.
Yeah, actually they were not sweet.
Well, I'm sure they were spicy.
Yeah. Well, I got the lemon pepper.
Okay.
So pepper spice.
Gotcha. I like some garlic parmesan wings.
Oh, please.
Good stuff.
Which they have there. It's one of their flavors.
Well, we'll have to go when I come back from my vacation.
I like spicy garlic. It does. That's I like blazing too, but Keith's out of here. Later, Keith. All right.
All right, cool. So you might hit the Philly Big 5.
I'm going to try. I got half the field.
Nice 20-1 underneath. Some good stuff going on today.
Do I have half the field? No, 5 of the 11.
Okay, so almost half.
Almost half. The 1 is definitely my BCS.
I'm just going to bother you every time about it.
Nah, it's...
So, yes, you really want the 1. Have you taken a look at these will pays?
I haven't seen will pays.
Let's see if we can find something. Pools, will pays. Yeah, not on here. Interesting.
Yeah, what I've noticed this. I mean, it happened at Gulfstream with the mandatory. I didn't notice at Golden Gate because I was out and just.
It's whatever.
I actually think they did show them though, but Gulfstream doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think the jackpot messes it up, but to me, when it's not a jackpot.
Well,
but I think in racing, there's this issue where like people don't want to spend the time to like
calculate,
turn it. Well, it's like, oh, it's tote, so the programming.
Yeah.
And they don't want to spend the time Saturday night to do it for Sunday, because I'm sure my guess, being around this as long as I have, is that there was an instance where they reprogrammed it for mandatory day, forgot to change it back, and then the first day it was supposed to be a jackpot wager, it paid out or whatever, and someone probably lost their job over it. And
And then never again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, it's only a matter of time until you find out. What you looking at?
I'm just amazed that we, after 2 months, finally got to a payoff leg.
Slow into action we are. I mean, we're only playing once a week live.
We are only playing once a week. And now, one spin on that could be also that we're not even on air when Sam Houston ends.
That's true.
But I think I've been out every time we are on air by the time we go off.
Yeah.
So
I think I was live once and then ended up being out.
Although that pick six, when I got DQ'd, I was live.
That was rough.
That was.
Yeah.
That was one of those, why do I do this? Drives home. Drive homes.
Definitely not drive home.
Why do I do this? Drives home. Yeah.
Yeah. One of many drives, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Usually it's poker where I'm going through that.
What the why me?
Like, oh my God, that was terrible.
Yeah. Have you ever had a bet that you lose that really, really, really hurts and you never forget it? And you are actually legitimately upset for like a little while?
Well, you know the answer to that.
Well, I know one of them, but is there anyone else that comes to mind?
I feel like I've had enough the other way where it's like, oh man, how'd I get through that? And it paid well.
Should we meet Chris?
Oh yeah. So it balances out in that regard, but I mean, Dunbar Road's gonna
sting forever.
It's gonna sting forever.
Never.
Because I mean, I love winning. I especially love like being in a group, and we bought into the BCBC, and I had a bunch of guys that had between 1% and 10%. So tons of people involved. So that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
My name on the entry though, so the chance that at DeRosa.
Bright and shiny lights.
Like, oh man, he put 4,000 to win on Dunbar Road, and
did you really?
Well, it's a contest.
Okay. Yeah,
so gotcha. I mean, you have a starting bankroll, so it wasn't like I had saved up for to make this big bet. Like you have 7,500, you have to bet, and the goal was if Dunbar Road wins, I want to win the contest. Like that was the opinion.
It was a great opinion.
So
yeah. Have you ever played a win bet for around that much outside of a contest?
My biggest win bet on my own is 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah, I've bet 1,000 to win once.
And it hit.
No, it did not.
Oh, it did not.
No.
Oh.
It did not.
I'm 2 for 2.
2 for $200,000. I've done 500 a couple times, and those I want to say most of the time have hit. But that has to be a pretty confident move. But I mean, with the
definitely lost some fives.
Yeah, with the $1,000 win bet, it was a horse that I had already won over 3,000 on with very small, well not very small, but like couple hundred to win before that. So yeah, that one's done. I remember because I went live that day. It was at Saratoga, and I went to the window and I did 400 on my phone on the ADW of my choosing, and then I went to the window and did 600 cash. And I remember the lady looked at me and she was like, "What do you know?" And I was like, "Hopefully something." And then I did not know anything, but it's what it is. I'm excited for that horse's runaway rumor. I'm excited to see her come back for her 4-year-old year because that's a horse that has a pretty good pedigree. Kind of always shows up, runs good races. For Jorge Abreu, Chad's old assistant. He got a winner at Gulfstream today, actually.
Jeff wants us to say something more meaningful.
Should we talk about more movies?
I was going to ask what you thought of the Ukraine, but I'm sure they don't want to hear that either.
Oh, that's a question for Coots, isn't it? And ITP?
Actually, though, to Jeff's point, I will say we've talked about me being live, and that's great, and some big bets. We actually haven't handicapped this race.
Yeah, we could talk about it. I only had one.
I love the one.
Do you? What do you like about the one?
Colts Neck has on top.
Okay.
I am a numbers guy, as previously discussed, with my astrological sign being Capricorn, so it's
Yeah,
destiny.
that's fine.
Admittedly, the one did not show up much like when I handicapped it, as one would just look at a race. Um, so that pure numbers play to put on top, but at that price, like if you believe as I do in Colts Neck, and I'm a magazine guy too, like I just like looking, and sometimes a long shot will pop up or a reason to, oh, wait a minute, this doesn't look so great for the favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So those are kind of the two big reasons I like looking at those, and I just look at the numbers when it comes to those services. But the one stood out, so it's like, okay, going to be a price. To me, I'm very much into. You've heard me kind of say this to Mark before. Like, if you believe in something, like to me, there's no need to look any further. If I'm going to invest money in getting Colts Neck and time and looking at it every day, and it says the one should be 8-1 and it's 25-1, what am I looking at it for if I don't play it?
Well, I was going to say, when you're talking about what everybody uses to handicap races, and obviously that's going to be a different mix and match of tools for different people, you can't possibly look at them all. You're not going to have the time. You're going to drive yourself crazy overthinking all the different options that all of these handicapping tools are giving you. I mean, you can obviously like take an interest in one new thing at a time and kind of be like, does this work? Does this totally contradict what I'm doing? Is this a waste of my time and money? Do I need this? And I think when you're first getting into the game, it's kind of good to sample everything and see what helps you make money. But to your point, if you look at something and it points you in the right direction more often than not, then what are you going to do wasting your time looking at everything else?
Right.
Not that it's not valuable, but it's not worth it, so to speak.
And you get the inside.
Which we know is good here.
Been all right.
So you have.
Yeah, and another, like I picked on top, and this was a case of picking on top, not because I thought most likely winner, but
value.
It fits something that I really get excited about when it lands on a horse and would be a price. So yeah. I went to be the hero. Unfortunately, in the tournament I'm in second, and somehow the person ahead of me also has the one.
Wow. Okay, so then I guess a lot of people are taking a look at that horse.
Could be the price, but hitting the pick 5
would be nice.
And second in the tournament.
Yeah. So you have 1, 4, 5, 10, and 13.
That's right.
So we'll see what happens.
So who's on the lead here? Is that the 13?
I think so. Crossing and clearing. Taken back with the number 5 horse, who was the one that I had on my ticket, and he is not happy about it.
Yeah, based on the pick 4s, the 4 and 5 are definitely the shortest payouts. Yeah, 5's tugging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, crossing.
The one scraping the paint.
Here. Yeah. Maybe gonna pull a grit and grind from earlier and pop out in the stretch.
I mean, at this point, looking at the horses who move, I'm feeling good about at least surviving.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So hopefully we can get a price here for you. The 13 is not a terrible prize.
I mean,
the 1 is coming. And the 5 is really not. So.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't asked yet, it doesn't seem like.
Yeah, but that horse has kind of been
I mean, if you're that rider, though, now you're between horses. It's
right.
Like, now I do not like the 7 got the absolute perfect trip.
Off the rail.
Yep.
And the 5 is struggling to get out. The 1 is trying to log in. And somebody needs to go.
Yeah, this is, that was not ideal.
Who's this?
That's the 12, also nothing.
That was a thrill for a second.
Yeah, it looked really good going on the backside.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, that sucks. But what I was going to say is also kind of
had about half the field and didn't hit the exact many lengths back to third. So
yeah, I was going to say I'm kind of
say I was wrong.
Glad that I didn't trust the 5.
Yeah, that was.
Not that being between horses like that and being uncomfortable the whole way around is great, but I also just don't think this horse was going to hit the board regardless. So
No.
at 9-5,
Who finished third? The 4?
yeah, fades back. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a situation at 9-5. You toss that one. I don't know that the 7 would have been the next horse on my ticket.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well, I knew that no one really would have been the next horse on my ticket, and it would have had to have kind of been an all for me to feel comfortable playing that last leg. So I saved $70.
Saved 70, 72.
72.
I did not. I lost, but.
Well, Sam Houston.
Sam Houston. They have a pick 5. Well, this is not.
This is our last one together.
This is our last one. Until next week.
Yeah.
You'll be back with your shipper robe.
I was going to say, I can't believe you thought I was going to be away for that long.
It's just a long trip.
Well, I can't just take 2 weeks off work.
Yeah.
That would be a little extreme. I did just start here.
We're excited to have you back on Wednesday.
You're excited.
Cora will be excited.
Yes, she will be. She'll enjoy your kids, though.
Oh, yeah.
She'll have a great time. Should we bring up good old Texas?
Oh, yeah. People are sick of seeing my sad mug after losing them.
Well. What price was the 7? 10-1?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, good.
I mean, perfect trip, but I kind of skipped over that horse when I was looking through things.
Well, I mean, again, the Exacta was several lengths ahead of the rest, so
right.
It's tough to.
Yeah. My computer is dying, so I guess I'll.
Yeah, I actually did not plug mine in. But.
Well, we only have a little more time.
Right. So what do we got here? I'm 614.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a little surprised that there's such a price discrepancy between the 4 and the 1. I felt like they kind of had equal opportunities in here. Both horses finished second last time out on the turf, rallying from off the pace. The 4, Senorita Cometa, was second to Quinn Ella, who is a turf horse that we've been seeing a lot of at Sam Houston. Just absolutely running them off their feet and winning a ton of races. I remember that's a horse that we talked about in one of our previous lives, even singled, and yes. That I had tried to beat foolishly.
Plus a great name.
Yeah, Quinn Ella.
Sorry, I was getting
plugged in.
The camera is into the computer, so it's if that goes out.
We only have a couple more minutes, but that would be not the best. We wouldn't be able to say goodbye. Will you take the volume thing off the TV?
Coots wants to know when the Parx pick 5 starts.
Now. Just missed it.
That stunk. I'm curious.
What it paid?
Yeah.
Well, sad day. I hate being alive to the last leg and then not getting it home.
Well, I mean, especially 5 deep, thinking, okay, I got to the.
Right.
Yeah.
No bueno.
They must be looking at something. Unfortunately, we weren't second, so.
Yeah.
No, that's official.
Okay. Well.
Someone must have hit the high 5 because there's no carryover to chase.
That's probably Mark. Who has pizza to buy us.
Yeah, he's in for a pie already.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Sad.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah. So next week when I ask you about a loss that you were upset about.
Oh, I'll be over that. Because, I was just wrong.
Yeah, it happens. Right. It's not like.
It sucks I lost, but yeah.
It's not like your horse ran the absolute best race and something.
Now, if I had been live to the 12, then it's like, oh man, he got going too late behind the perfect trip, whatever. But I didn't have that horse either. So.
Right. Well, moving along.
Moving along.
Do you have any thoughts on the rest of this Sam Houston card before we show our last race for
I
tonight?
do think the 7 is pretty strong in the 8th race.
Okay.
For those looking for a cheap pick 5 or pick 6 or whatever play. That would be my chalky single. But yeah, the favorite in race 6, number 5, I don't love. So if you're looking for a play against, it would be that for me.
Okay.
Jay has a late pick 5 at Sam Houston.
Great.
Or only pick 5 there. He is singling the 7.
2 singles. Okay. So spreading in here with the
well, not 7. In here.
Oh, yeah.
It starts race 5.
You're right. This is the start of the Space City.
But if you were to, that's race 4.
Oh, right. Yeah. I just can't count. It's fine. I'm getting ahead of myself.
But if you were to play a pick 3 in this race, Jay would be spreading
in the last
leg. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With 1, 4, 5, 7, 10. I am good with 4, 6 here.
Yeah, I would say 1, 4.
I have 1, 4, 6 as my A's, but with the 1 being 2 to 1, I'd be fine. Like letting that one beat me and.
Okay. Interesting. I think this is the same Ryan Carl team for the 1 horse in here, if I have it written down. Oh, no.
No, they're the totally 6, right?
Yes, you're right. Blinkers on. Chicago.
Yeah.
Floyd Weddy on the 1. Wasn't he not doing as well on the turf, and then he did win a few races on the turf? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, the Hot Jockey Report. He did not feature prominently on the turf. But, anyone else have some thoughts here? We had Jay's ticket. Coots is excited about the next pick 5 at Parx.
Yeah. The 8 Musical Millie was kind of outside the top group, but in with a chance for me, kind of running behind some of the other horses we talked about. So I feel like out of the same type of race, maybe. But I think we touched on the main players in here. Did you look at the 3's taking a ton of money. I was going to say the 3. But it's good old Steve.
That one would absolutely, I would let beat me.
Yeah. 12 to 1 on the morning line. We're going to have to look at this for real sometime so I can stop talking about it and how I wonder what the stats are. But the amount of horses for Steve Asmussen that go off at short prices that do no running versus the number of horses that don't take money that win. Because I feel like that's something I notice with him quite a bit at Sam Houston.
I have heard that he will at times place some wagers outside of the parimutuel pools. Knowing that
rumors about Steve.
No, not. But that's an explanation for how that could occur.
A possibility.
I think it's one of those like people talk about it just for the they wonder. So that is an explanation. Whether or not it happens, I don't know.
People also kind of just see his name and they're like, done.
Oh yeah, for sure. And as a trainer, I don't know the situation in this race, but at Sam Houston especially, he wins on the turf. I feel like at Churchill, the type of horses he has there, he's not a turf guy, but his is an operation that will put horses where they can win.
Absolutely.
Not that any trainer isn't like that. We're all trying to win, but
he spots them well.
Yeah,
you don't become the winningest trainer in North America by not spotting your horses well. A horse I will quickly touch on that's coming up in the next race of his that is going to be a super short price is the 9. Look Who Got Lucky, because that is a My Racehorse horse.
What's the distance of this race?
This is a mile and a 16 on the turf.
I was going to say, because we had it, this is a route. There are 2 turf sprints coming up, which, let me remove that chat. The turf sprints, and this is for the meet, which there's been 22, and most of them have been since the end of January. clearly speed, very tough to close as well, and then inside even. So for those looking at the turf sprints later, inside speed definitely the way to go.
Definitely. Speed is dangerous everywhere, and I think saving ground on the turf is even more valuable than on the dirt. So
third race field approaching the starting
hey, there's Nick.
Less than
There
a
he
minute
is.
until the
All right. Well, do you have any final thoughts for the rest of the week?
I'm betting the 6 to win.
Okay. 9-2.
9-2.
Should we show our faces to say goodbye?
Scratching me where I itch.
I mean, we don't have to, but
This guy says go with the 7.
in here, interesting.
Yeah, none of us mentioned the 7, did we?
No,
Hey, at 15 to 1,
you go for it.
Saints fan. I'm not gonna.
Who's your Derby horse right now? Is it Forbidden Kingdom after that performance?
I mean, now he's the favorite, so it's like he's definitely the one who's impressed me the most. Hard for me to get excited from a wagering standpoint, and I'm definitely sticking to my guns. I've mentioned this before. I think it's going to be an 09 Redux, where after all these issues, back then it was the steroids and post 8 bells and Barbaro. We had total chaos in the Derby. Philly won the Preakness. I'm thinking that can happen this year, and I'm playing the race for 20 to 1 or higher to win.
Okay, I like it. Looking for a little bit of chaos.
Sticking to that thought that all that's been going on with Baffert,
Yeah.
right or wrong with him, no opinion, but just with that swirling, I just think that favors more randomness in the Derby. So my wagers will reflect that hypothesis.
Interesting take. Do you think that if Secret Oath is in the Derby that she's going to be the favorite?
No.
No?
Well, if she wins the Arkansas Derby, yes.
Yeah.
I would expect, and we have a pool now that we'll see what people think. I don't see her as being the individual favorite this week.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, it depends on if she runs in that Arkansas Derby, what she does in
I think if you're a believer, not saying I am, that I would play her, but I think if you are a believer, this is the time to get in.
On her? Yeah. That's fair enough.
Because with there's still like, oh, she's a filly, she has to beat males. Like, there's enough question marks to me that only the believers will be betting. Whereas with, what's his name? Forbidden Kingdom?
Yes.
Get it? Forbidden.
It's like animals?
Forbidden Kingdom, now we have, okay, this is the type of race that can win.
Yeah, fair enough. So in here, Steve's horse went to the lead. This one is trying to get by in the stretch, and I don't really see it happening for anybody else.
No.
So the one it is, Floyd Weddy on the turf.
There you go.
Yep.
1, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to end on back-to-back losers for me. That's fun.
Could be worse.
Well, so what, you'll have about 1,500 miles between now and next week?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's like 900.
That many? So
Each
maybe
way,
2,000?
Just about.
Because
Well,
Detour at Aqueduct,
I was
right?
going to say I'm going to go to Aqueduct. So,
Yeah.
We'll hit the 2,000.
Aquatoga.
I wouldn't go that far with it. Yeah, I still haven't decided which day I'm going, but it'll be either Saturday or Sunday. So I'm excited. I haven't been to the track since the day before I moved here.
Yeah.
So
Well, Sara likes to park far away. If you're looking to meet up in Ozone Park.
Yep. Come and find me. I'll be there one
Yeah.
of these days. Gonna go meet Andy, maybe. So it'd be cool.
Yeah. No, I'm envious. I've been there once for Wicked Strong's Wood Memorial.
Really?
And
Okay.
enjoyed it. I was there the day before too, so twice if you count
Yeah.
separately, but one event. Yeah, I mean it's a racetrack.
It sure is.
That is for sure. So, well, that'll do it then.
That's it. The end.
The end. See you next week. So we're gonna do the turf weight thing. I think that I like having the back and forth.
I do too.
And they're at 6:15. This race at Sam Houston was at 6, so it's a
Yeah, I think we'll
Good-
figure out what
good
time,
ball-
and
ball
we'll tell
job.
everyone ahead of time and get it all started
Everyone will
there.
be happy.
So,
All right.
good stuff. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you are liking, subscribing, checking us out for next week, whatever time we may be on, and appreciate the viewership as always.
We sure do. All right. That's Sarah. I'm Ed. We're Horse Racing Nation. Join us next week.